Yo, what's up, guys? It's week one of the NFL. I'm Joel Hoffman, and welcome to the first edition of Joel's Picks. What I have first on the list is Tampa Bay and Dallas. So Tampa Bay, we know, has Tom Brady, the GOAT. We know what type of roster they have. They have elite talent on defense. In the linebacker position, you got Vea in the defensive interior, and you have the outside linebacker that played very good, had an amazing stretch last year, Shaquille Barrett. They're a good team. I just don't feel like with Tom Brady taking all that time off in the preseason, retiring, not enough time with the offensive line and receivers to play at his full potential. I think Dallas is coming in underrated this year. They're having problems at offensive line, and being a Dallas fan, I'm right there with them. They could very well bust this year with that offensive line, and Dak could get sacked 1,000 times. I get it, but I think on the defensive side of the ball that they really altered their ego as far as being who they are. They're monsters on defense. They're a takeaway machine. They proved that last year, and it stayed the same through preseason. I think Dan Quinn really has a hold of this defense, and I think the home field advantage, and Dallas just being able to be a little bit more consistent on the ground and on third down, I think that gives Dallas the edge in this game. If you could get Dallas +3, I would definitely take Dallas +3. San Francisco, Chicago. It's pouring down rain, flash flood warning. That could play well for San Francisco or it could play bad. My only hiccup here is that with San Francisco is I don't know how Trey Lance is going to play in this environment. In a home field of Chicago. Chicago's a tough place to play, and with this pouring down rain. So I'm hoping Kyle Shanahan keeps it on the ground, and San Francisco, if their offensive line plays like it did last year and their defensive line, then they shouldn't have a problem with this game. I don't feel like Chicago's offensive line is going to be able to protect Justin Fields enough to give them a fair shot in this game. Justin Fields is a good player. I just don't feel like matching the rosters up, and with the coaching talent, I don't feel like they can run with San Francisco. I'll take San Francisco -7. Indianapolis and Houston. Houston played better last year. They're a scary team. They're tough to watch. Indianapolis got a new quarterback in Matt Ryan's definitely upgrade from Carson Wentz, but then he still kind of got this old man that is going to be back there in the pocket. Scary game. Like I say, I picked Houston a lot at the end of the year for upsets, and they came through. This could definitely spell upset if Houston could keep it on the ground with their rookie running back and play some good defense. Then they have a shot. But I just think that Indianapolis's defense with DeForest Buckner and then their offensive line, like in those trenches, that's where they win the game. And I don't think Matt Ryan will make as many mistakes as Davis Mills. So I think that the last time I see the spread, it was at Indianapolis -7.5. If you can get Indianapolis -7 or less than 7, I would definitely take Indy at -7. Kansas City at Arizona. Woo, we got a tough one here. This could definitely be a shootout. I think without DeAndre Hopkins, though, that this is just not the same team for Kyler Murray. He kind of had a rough offseason, and they gave him the contract, and he's still an excellent player, but I'm not sure if his head is exactly there. I'm not sure without the tenacity of DeAndre Hopkins there that this is going to be the same team. No more Christian Kirk. There's going to be some new receivers. He has his boy back from Oklahoma, and that's a good Hollywood Brown's a good player, but I just don't see him being able to match up with Kansas City. Kansas City lost Tyreek Hill. I get it, but you still got Kelsey. You still have Burners and Hardman on the outside. You still have a lot of amazing talent. They got Juju. They got a possession receiver. And I feel like with the possession receiver now and Juju, Kelsey, you still have your Burners that you need for Andy Reid to stretch the field. He still has his playmakers at running back. They still have a good offensive line. My only question mark for them might be at defense. So we'll see how they play with that. I feel like they have a good defensive coordinator. But I think at the end of the day, you just can't run with Pat Mahomes. He's going to figure out a way to beat you, and Andy Reid's going to figure out a way to beat you. So if I only have to give up 3 points with Kansas City, I definitely take Kansas City with 3 points, -3. Tennessee at New York Giants. Man, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm always going to be kind of, hey, everybody else sucks. But I just think the Giants suck. I think their defense sucks. I don't think the talent they have on offense is up to par. Saquon Barkley is a great running back, and he'll probably have a better year this year. I think Daniel Jones, he has his moments, but I don't think he is an elite talent. And I think that defensive coordinators will pick him apart, just like they've done in the past. So Tennessee got the defense. I love their coach and Mike Vrabel. They play hard-nosed football. I feel like Tannehill is going to do a better job this year, especially knowing that he has somebody, on his heels. They got Derrick Henry back. I don't think their identity has changed. I think they know who they are as to where the Giants don't know who they are. So I'm going to take Tennessee -5.5 in this one. Cincinnati versus Pittsburgh. When I first picked this game, I was really high on Cincinnati. I kind of expected Pittsburgh to have a down year, and that still might be the case. But at the end of the day, Pittsburgh's defense still has some amazing playmakers and some elite talent. And then they have some talent on the other side of the ball. What I don't know about is their offensive line. I don't know about Mitchell Trubisky under pressure. I don't know about him against like real defenses. We've seen what he could do at Chicago at his best. And the potential is definitely there. But I just don't believe in his mind that he has the capability to go over and win games by himself. As to where on the other side of the ball, Joe Burrow is going to go be Joe Burrow. The last time Joe Burrow, I know he's coming off rest of the appendectomy. The last time he came off sitting out a whole year, he came in and threw 2 touchdowns on the first pass. So, there might be the Super Bowl hangover like what happened with Stafford, but I don't think the same thing will be with Burrow. I think he'll be there. I think he'll be mentally prepared. And I think his coaching staff will keep him in positions to where he doesn't have to carry the whole team. And their running game will be much better this year. I believe they upgraded the offensive line. They'll be able to protect them better this year. And I see good things coming for them this year. And I'm going to go ahead and stick with this bet. It's scary because the Steelers can definitely sneak up and win this game. They definitely can. But I would still go with Cincinnati -6.5. New Orleans at Atlanta. Man, I like New Orleans defense. I like their swagger. They just have a certain thing about them. They upgraded on offense and added some key pieces at wide receiver. They still have an amazing running back. Jameis Winston coming back from an injury. I think that if they keep him from trying to carry the game and he can just do what he does and play in the game plan and they can run the ball and not put all the pressure on him to throw 50 times a game, like I don't think they'll do that. I think they have a good shot at this thing. Anytime it's New Orleans and Atlanta, like this, it's hard to go over 3 points. Like always, Carolina, this whole division, anytime they play each other, it's hard to like pick one side for another larger than a 3-point spread. But I just think New Orleans has the edge in this one. I think they have the tenacity. I think they have the edge. I think they have more talent. You got Marcus Mariota coming over to a whole new scheme, a whole new system, new coach, new offensive coordinator, new receivers. They lost Russell Gage from last year. There's just a lot of question marks for me in Atlanta. I know they're playing in the Dome. Atlanta, I felt like upgraded on defense last year with A.J. Terrell. But I just see New Orleans winning this game. I see them maybe just blowing them out. I think this is Atlanta's like kind of fill me out game. Maybe Atlanta does well. Maybe Marcus Mariota goes off and Kyle Pitts goes off and the defense locks down the Saints rushing game. If that happens, then they definitely got a shot. But I just think the higher probability would be New Orleans blowing Atlanta out. I definitely take New Orleans -5.5. Cleveland at Carolina. Man, this game started off with Cleveland, I believe, at -4.5, and now it's already went up to the point spreads flipped the other way. So the reason being is that Baker Mayfield is known to play better against grudge matches, and I guess people made a big thing out of that. But I also think that the smart bettors know that Jacoby Brissett sucks. He's not going to go out there and win games for you. He can manage the game and your whole team can win the game, but he's not going to go win games for you. Carolina's defense was, I believe, a top 5 defense last year. Their offense wasn't the same. I believe they upgraded on offense. They got some pieces that they need. This is Matt Rule's second year to really put his stamp on the program. And just playing at home, I'm not sure the weather conditions. I think they were forecasted to be rainy earlier in the week. I'm not sure now. And Cleveland, don't get me wrong, they got a good defense, but who's their identity? Like, they know Deshaun Watson sitting out all year, so it's like, hey, if we suck, then they suck, right? Then they don't have anything to blame, like they don't have any expectations right now. I feel like with Deshaun Watson out, they don't have expectations to win the Super Bowl like they would, or make deep into the playoffs like they would if Deshaun Watson was playing. So just, with all the controversy surrounding that, the press media, I mean, Myles Garrett, he can't win the game by himself. I mean, maybe he can, but I don't believe he can. You got Greedy Williams out in the backfield. I know you still got Denzel Ward. You got a lot of high draft picks, but just because they're high draft picks don't make them an elite talent. They didn't play as well as they could have last year. And I just think that Carolina, with Christian McCaffrey back and being able to have a smart game plan with Matt Rule, I think that he'll manage the game the right way and give Carolina the win. So if you could get Carolina plus 3 points, great. Take that. If Carolina pick them, take that. I just wouldn't take Carolina more than -3. I mean, you could, but I just feel like it would be more more of a wager. Now, granted, Carolina could definitely go out there and blow them out this game. But, Cleveland's kind of sneaky. We really don't know what to get, and they have some talent. So I picked Carolina to win in this game. Philadelphia, Detroit. Man, Philly got scary this year, dude. They already had Fletcher Cox, and they drafted that big boy out of Georgia. And I'm just like, man, I don't know who's going to block this duo. They already have so much other talent on defense. Then they upgraded the offensive line. The analysts are saying they have one of the best offensive line in the league. Jalen Hurts, yeah, he's made some bad decisions, and I'm not a super big fan. No, I don't like the Eagles. But the fact of the matter is they upgraded their receiver, and a lot of his mishaps last year were from drop throws. Can he read the defense like Tom Brady? I don't know, but the dude can run. He's athletic. He can sling the ball down the field. So as long as he can find the open man, then they should have a really good team this year. Detroit, I feel like they're just getting too much hype with the whole Hard Knocks and Dan Campbell. Like, I get it. I love the attitude. I love the toughness of football. I love the speeches. I love it all. But Dan Campbell doesn't play anymore, and he is not the whole team. I'm not a fan of Jared Goff. I don't believe he has that what it factor. I mean, he can make some throws. Yeah, he has NFL talent, but I just don't believe that they have everything it needs to put it all together. DeAndre Swift, good running back. They have Jamal Williams, good running back. But I just don't believe this is an elite level team that really believe in themselves to win. Like, I kind of feel like the whole Detroit thing and like it's just this stigma of, and with Goff being traded and having, a bad year, I just don't feel like they're going to really be able to get over that loser's attitude. Granted, I could be completely wrong. They could come play back. I mean, Detroit was great against the spread last year. They were in a lot of games, and they could come back and be really amazing and surprise everybody. But I just don't believe that'll happen. I think that Philly's just too big and too athletic in the trenches for Detroit to be able to run with. So I think that it'll be against some lesser teams, some lesser talent that you might see Detroit play at a better level than what they did last year. But I'm putting Philly kind of high up there in the ranks, power rankings, even though I don't want to, just because it is what it is, and I respect talent. So I'll take Philly. I think this thing started out as -3.5. I think it shot all the way up to -5.5. If you could get Philly -3, great. Even if you had to take Philly -7, I think that I still take Philly. New England at Miami. Woo, this is a tough one. Tua got all this, I'm the most accurate quarterback and all this crazy stuff. He added Tyreek Hill. They added some running back positions. Miami played decent last year. I just don't know. I feel like I knew who they were more last year with Brian Flores than I do this year. It's just kind of like a coin toss to me of who's going to show up in Tua, like who's going to perform under pressure. They definitely have some good pieces on defense with Xavier Howard. We'll see if Byron Jones plays last year. We know he has a capability of being a upper level cornerback. They got a lot of talent over there. It's just, man, you don't really know what to expect. Same thing goes with New England this year. What's going on with the offensive coordinator? They had more of an identity last year with Josh McDaniels back there calling the shots, but now it's kind of like, oh, who's this? Is Bill calling the shots? We don't know. Bill's always been a defensive guy, so he's always had his stamp on the defense. But what is their offense going to be like? We've seen different versions of the New England offense. We've seen the more run style. We've seen when Tom Brady was there, just toss it up whenever they had Moss and all them, and they were just blowing everybody out of the water. Bill is going to try to figure out a way to manage the game in a way that he can win. And I give him so much more credit than the talent that they have. I just don't know what they have yet. If they play like they did last year, great. But this preseason, it smelled funny to me. So it's just a toss up here. I would like to take Miami because they're at home. I feel like they have an advantage, but I wouldn't be surprised to see New England come away with this. If I have to bet, I would take Miami -3. I think I seen it up at 3.5. I probably wouldn't take it more than 3.5. If you could maybe buy New England up more than buy it up to 7, I probably would take New England +7. But if I had to pick them to win, then I would probably take Miami at this point, and I think that it will probably take the offense for the New England Patriots a little bit more time under a new offensive system before they can really start clicking together, and we'll see them playing like their capability of the New England Patriots should be. This could be a down year for the Patriots, but they could come right back popping just like they were last year. Next, I have Jacksonville at Washington. I do not like Carson Wentz. I think that he's a loser. I think his best days are behind him. I think he's a great person. Don't get it wrong. Dude's a great dude. Like, I'd probably let him marry my daughter, if it was that was the case. But I don't think that he played enough games in college. I don't think that he has that fight the bully back mentality. He's still out here competing. He didn't retire. He's overcome some major injuries, but I think after those major injuries, he really blew his confidence. And watching Nick Foles win the Super Bowl, like that, if I was a QB, that probably would have did something to me. Like, man, that was supposed to be my Super Bowl, my team. So I just don't think that he's there all the way mentally. I don't think he's been the same since. He's going to a Washington team that is a lot more scrappy than he is. And I just don't think the identity fits. I don't think there will be chemistry there. He might make some big plays here and there that, kind of keep Washington in some games. I don't know if Washington's defense is going to be as good as it's previously been. I just don't think that they're really bought in. And I think that Jacksonville is a new team with Doug Peterson. I think that he's going to know Carson Wentz's defense to give his defensive coordinators keys to beat them. And I think that Trevor Lawrence's talent's going to come out. Like, Jacksonville has got a lot of high picks. They've got a lot of talent on the team. And I think they'll have more identity this year. And I think that Doug Peterson will know how to use those pieces in order for them to win. Travis Etienne is coming back. So I feel like he's going to be a more Marshall Faulk type of guy. I feel like he's underrated on the fantasy boards. As long as their offensive line can play good, and I think Doug Peterson will help with that, then I really like Jacksonville to take the next step this year and become not a great team, but definitely not the bottom of the barrel team like they were last year. It's at home in Washington. Typically, I give a lot of advantage to the home team. And, probably if Washington had their quarterback they had last year, I would probably take Washington, even though he wasn't like a nobody, no-name quarterback. He had some moxie. Just about any other quarterback, I would probably take Washington right now if they started RG3. But I do not want to take Washington with Carson Wentz. He'll probably throw 3 to 5 picks, fumble 3 to 5 times, and I don't think he'll be a starter in this league probably after week 4 to 6. So I'm going to take Jacksonville +3. Las Vegas Raiders at the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, the Raiders came through so many games last year, and they won so many games that I didn't even think they were being. They just found a way to win. They got a new coach in Josh McDaniels this year, and I think that's an upgrade. Just changing the system. That's what I'm curious about. I think that on the first game, changing the system, new coach, I think that Josh McDaniels is going to perform way better as a coach than he did at Denver. I just don't know how it's going to be. In the beginning of the first game, they got Devontae Adams. They're going to be way more explosive this year. Derek Carr is going to have that dude threw for so many yards last year, and I'm like, oh, who is his receivers again? Hunter Renfrow, like the guy that looked like me out there running routes. It was crazy to me what Derek Carr accomplished last year, and the games that him and that defense stuck in and end up winning. And I think the Los Angeles Chargers are definitely pissed off about getting kicked out of the playoffs. I definitely think they had more potential to be in the playoffs, and they've known that. And I think adding Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson will make them very dominant, way more dominant this year. And J.C. Jackson's not playing in this game, so that's why I'm like, I don't know how much better that secondary is. But they still have Derwin James back there, and I feel like with adding Khalil Mack on the other side, and the new system for Oakland, I just don't know. I think they'll be able to make some plays to keep it competitive, but I just don't know if they can come out over the Chargers. I think the Chargers have gelled better. They have more chemistry. They played longer with the coach, everything like that. So I'm going to take the Chargers in this game, -3. I wouldn't take them more than 3. It'd be a lot more risky for me. Green Bay at Minnesota. So Green Bay at Minnesota, man, I usually pick Aaron Rodgers. I like Aaron Rodgers. He's won a lot of games, even without Devontae. He's a great quarterback, but I just don't know if his left tackle's coming back yet. I don't know. The defense is probably going to be really good. They still lost, they lost some pieces as well. So one of their outside linebackers, I think he's playing on the other side of the ball, is Smith. And so I think he's going to be pretty mad. I think Minnesota upgraded and they need a culture change. I really don't like always picking teams that are on their first game with new coordinators. But man, Minnesota, I don't think they'll skip a beat. I think that the new offensive coordinator is going to come in there, do his job, know how to use his pieces. He comes from a high-powered offensive set that likes to score a lot of points, and I just feel like that's kind of the missing piece that Minnesota needs. I think they'll be a little bit tougher this year, and without Devontae Adams and like Aaron Rodgers being able to play a lot of time with these receivers, I don't even think Adam Lazard's playing. So definitely, like, don't have my starting left tackle, don't have Adam Lazard, don't have Devontae Adams. I'm waiting for Aaron Rodgers to have all this chemistry with guys that he don't even play. He hasn't even played a full game with yet. And I'm not going to expect that. That's unrealistic. Even if you had practice guys that it was the middle of last year or any other year that he has chemistry with, that's been on his team, that knows the system, then yeah, but these are rookies coming into a new system with a new quarterback. So I don't see it. If it happens, it's Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be mad at myself if Aaron Rodgers won and I was wrong. But I would definitely, the spread changed. But if you could buy it up, then I would definitely take Minnesota +3. If not, Minnesota to win. If I had to take Minnesota -2, I wouldn't be mad, or 3. I would feel okay about that. And I think that Minnesota is really going to come together and probably pound the ball. It might be a tough game, but it might be an eye-opener for the Green Bay Packers, and they might really get it stuck to them. So I'm going to take Minnesota on this one. Denver, our next one is Baltimore at the Jets. Man, the Jets lost their starting offensive tackle beginning of the year. Then they lost Dwayne Brown. Then they lost their quarterback. Joe Flacco's Joe Flacco. Who's going to protect him? What is he going to use? I mean, he's going to get the ball out of his hands fast. Where's his elite receivers that's going to get so wide open? You got all these pieces coming back for Baltimore. People forget, like, whenever they had all these people, they were, Super Bowl favorites. So, yeah, people kind of figured out Lamar, and he's had his bad times and this and that. And he has more pressure from the contract situation. But as a franchise and organization, talent-wise, like, Baltimore is going to blow the Jets out of the water. Yeah, I know the Jets look better in preseason, all this and that. They're playing at home. Whoop-de-doo. They're still the New York Jets. I expect the Jets to be the worst team in the league. They still don't have an offensive line. Maybe they have a decent front seven this year. But I don't feel like they're going to be able to compete. I don't feel like they have that fire, that swag. I don't feel like whenever it really, the rubber meets the road, I feel like they're going to be burning out. They look good on paper. But Baltimore is just going to destroy these guys, and I would expect Baltimore to be tough competition this year. So those are my picks, and then I got Monday night. I almost forgot about Monday night. Denver at Seattle. I kind of liked Geno Smith last year after he played that good game, but he kind of proved to me that it'll still be Geno Smith. I think he might put up some points. I think he might, have some decent fantasy games here and there. Pete Carroll's a different coach, but all these players lost. You just have no identity anymore. And I think that probably by middle of the season, before the trade deadline, DK Metcalf is going to be asking for a trade. Tyler Lockett was having some mental health issues. I think he said he was going through some depression. And they're great receivers. I just don't think that they're going to be able to deliver them the ball. I don't think Pete Carroll is going to be able to play the same kind of game that he wants to. And not being able to play that game, I think, kind of throws him out of his element. And I don't believe they'll be able to adjust. I think that whenever they started going to the more pass-heavy thing and leaning on Russell, which Russell's a great quarterback, I think that kind of put a kink in their whole system. Denver, Russell Wilson. I mean, you got Cortland Sutton. You got your boy from Alabama, Judy. You got a lot of pieces over there. You got good pieces at running back. You got a lot of talent on defense. Denver's defense was definitely underrated. I think that adding the quarterback to this team is definitely going to be a big boost. I think people are sleeping on Russell Wilson and what he means to a team and how good he actually is. I think that the level of people that he had around him didn't really match. As far as his offensive line and defense, he had a couple good wide receivers. he was just running everywhere whenever he was at Seattle last year. And I think that they're going to give him enough time to go with Seattle. They got the 12th man and this and that, but I think there's going to be some favoritism for Wilson. I think there's probably going to be some Seattle fans that really became Russell Wilson fans. So I don't think that it's going to be like a Philly scenario where they're going to just be super like mean to him. So I'm going to take Denver in this game -6. And those are my picks for this week. If you guys check out my Facebook group Football Nerds, I'm going to be posting this on TikTok, my personal page. And if all this goes well, then I'm thinking about creating a new page for my Facebook. I just love football, man. I've been watching it my whole life. I wanted to go to the NFL. That didn't really work out for me, but it's just something that I really love. And over the years, I've been pretty successful at picking the games. I haven't always been the best gamblers because I do like parlays, and that bites me in the butt a lot of times. But as far as percentage of games that I pick, I've been very good actually over the years. So just want to make this content. If ESPN's watching, NFL Network, CBS, any sports radio, anything like that, and you guys are looking for another analyst, you can hit me up at joelmotivates@gmail.com, and I would love to get with you guys. I'm looking to go to the next level in this thing. Y'all check out my picks, and we'll see how this Sunday goes.